CE.5a functions of political parties. Now, today we're just doing a brief intro of why political parties are important and, according to the state of Virginia, what you need to know about them. Political parties play a key role in our government because they allow people to become involved in the political process. The two major parties in our country are the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So what is a political party? Well, it's not necessarily what you think of as, quote-unquote, a party. Although at times they do have parties to celebrate election night, hold fancy fundraisers, or have big rallies, but necessarily that is not the idea of what a political party is. A political party is a group of citizens that share a common interest, a common view on government, whether it's for less government or more government regulation. So they have a stance and they develop a plan how the government should operate. Now, the two-party system goes back to basically overall a disagreement to how we view the Constitution. You have to remember that we had Federalists back then, led by people like Alexander Hamilton, who believed in a loose interpretation of the Constitution, and he wanted a larger central government. The Federalists were instrumental behind scrapping the Articles of Confederation and implementing the Constitution. The opposite side, the anti-Federalists, or more commonly known as the Democrat-Republicans, led by Virginians like Thomas Jefferson and George Mason, wanted a more strict view of the Constitution and believed that states should retain their sovereignty and be supreme over the federal government. Now, of course, this issue wasn't necessarily resolved until the Civil War, and even today, our two major parties have various viewpoints on how to interpret the Constitution. So the two major parties in our country today, represented by the donkey and the elephant, are the Democrats and the Republican Party. Currently, the Democrats occupy the White House and hold a majority in the Senate, while the Republicans hold the majority in the House of Representatives and the majority of governorships across this country. There are four main functions, meaning roles and jobs, of political parties, according to the state of Virginia. Now again, this is very basic. I could go into more detail than I did in class, but this is just the brief guidelines. All political parties recruit and try to seek the best candidates to run for office. This includes well-known elected local leaders. This could be celebrities, as shown here, athletes, famous generals, okay? Political parties are always looking for people with a lot of name recognition. That saves them a lot of money. Or if they don't have the name recognition, they're looking for people who can self-fund a race, which requires them to do very little fundraising for the candidate. Political parties all seek to educate voters in what we call a campaign platform. Okay? A platform is a list of programs that the party believes in and that they will support. A couple years ago, the Republican Party, when they took back the House of Representatives in 2010, had a program called the Pledge to America. Another famous one is called the Contract to America, led by Newt Gingrich in 1994, that led to a huge increase in control of the House of Representatives to the Republican Party. Another key role, because of the rising cost of campaigns, a political party can be instrumental in helping you receive the necessary fundraising to run for office, because running for office is extremely expensive. And finally, political parties act like a watchdog over the party in power. The idea of a watchdog being, again, not like these little wonderful cutie things. The party who lost the election, in this case the Republicans in 2008 and 2012 with Romney, watch for the party in power to make mistakes. Classic example, what's going on right now. Now we have moved past the government shutdown. The Republican Party is still hammering President Obama and the Democrats on the Affordable Health Care Act, or Obamacare, whereas the Democrats, who do not have control of the House, are going after the Republicans and blaming them for the government shutdown. So what is important to review this all? It's because political parties, no matter if it's the two major, Republican, Democrat, a third party like the Reform, the Libertarian, the Green Party, they all want to do good for our country, but it's just a matter of agreements. There are so many different disagreements on how to interpret our Constitution and the role of our federal government. That is what leads to things like our government shutdown. And unfortunately, they have not been able to compromise and work together to try to resolve this issue. Okay? And that is the role of political parties, the functions of political parties. I hope this helped you today, and I look forward to continuing talking about Unit 5, or actually Unit 3, political parties.